Welcome back, Wolfpack. Vrolas here, and this is how to use Cinccino. Now, Cinccino is a wonderfully designed Pokemon. I think it's adorable, and not only that, but it can actually fight pretty well. That 115 on the speed, this is where I start to consider a good speed. That around over 110 and then more than that, and now we're getting into a sleeper category, or at least a pretty safe level of speed, to where even if you have frail defenses like Cinccino, I mean, 60 on defense and 75 hit points, you're not going to be surviving much. But even with those frail defenses, you're going to be okay with a 115 speed. Would be nice to have more, but then that would just be ridiculous. 95 on the attack. So 95 attack, we do criticize a lot of Pokemon for having a 95 attack, but it's always about the base power as well. Remember, Talonflame doesn't even have a 90 attack, and it still does absurd amounts of damage. So if we can find ways of getting enough damage in this Pokemon, we have the speed to back us up, and then we're going to be good to go. Cinccino is a normal type Pokemon, so normal type stuff. We only have one weakness, which means we might survive a not incredibly strong neutral hit, because almost everything is going to hit us neutrally, which is really nice, and then we just don't have too much offensive prowess that we're not going to get a crazy amount of stab or super effectives, but we're just going to do alright as a normal typing. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, we're going to see that Cinccino is actually really powerful. So the 95 attack, as we mentioned, not incredible, and with that 115 speed, we are going to have to go with a speed boosting nature, so jolly. But then we look at a move like Tail Slap. Hits 2 to 5 times per turn, but then we look at an ability like Skill Link. Multi-hit moves always hit the maximum amount of times. So I think Cinccino is a very powerful Pokemon, and I've literally been slapped around by this thing. If it outspeeds your team, you are in trouble, and you have a pretty decent chance of losing at that point. So when we look at it, 25 base power, well that times 5 is 125, that plus stab means we're dealing with high base power moves, so we're still going to find a high amount of damage with our 95 attack. Not necessarily going to OHKO anything with a stab, but we do have Rock Blast and Bullet Seed for super effective hits, and those can get serious and find some KOs from time to time, but the big deal is going to be King's Rock. Holders attack without a chance to flinch gain 10% chance to flinch per hit. So we're going to be hitting 5 times, which means we're getting 5 King's Rock procs, so it comes out to around 40-something% chance that they're going to flinch. So not quite beneficial odds to you, but you're going to be doing over half their health and then a 40% chance to flinch. So you do that a couple of times, and then you can win a battle. You also get that Thunder Wave, so now you can slow down sweeper Pokemon that are faster than you. A Pokemon like Greninja, for example, isn't going to be able to one-hit KO you with an Ice Beam, so we'll have to use a Hydro Pump that has a chance of missing, but overall, Thunder Wave them, survive the hit, and then you can Parahax them, which is really nice. Now it's a 25% chance to not take action, and a 40-something% chance to not take action. So that's going to be really beneficial, while also doing a lot of damage. And if he went for the Scald or something, then you can throw out Bullet Seed, or if it's Ice, it's Rock Blast. So you still have a lot of really good damage options that can convert a KO back after surviving a neutral hit. So those are one of those like situations where you can survive some neutral hits and you're going to be okay. Also, if you know they're going to go for setup, use the Thunder Wave, then we get that Paraflinch Axe, and we're going to be pretty solid on that. So that's pretty much going to be the main play around Cinccino. If you don't want the Thunder Wave, you can carry more damage options. Knockoff is going to be pretty nice. 10% chance to flinch on the Knockoff because of King's Rock could get hilarious, but also just, you know, high amount of damage on ghost type Pokemon and whatever else you can hit super effective with it. Might not find a KO because it's low base power, low attack, but you know, it could be better than nothing. That if you know Rock Blast, Tail Slap, Bullet Seed isn't going to KO, you at least remove their item and do a substantial amount of damage, and you don't have to play the luck game by carrying that knockoff. Next up, we have Lychee Cinccino. Now it does get Endure. So Endure is very powerful, survives next hit with at least 1 hit points, uses up the turn. Then we combo that into Lychee Berry. When you get below a quarter of your max hit points, you gain 1 attack stage. So now we're going to get 50% to our attack. Now we're going to be pushing over 400 attack using very high base power moves. If all goes according to plan, then we have Flail. More power the less hit points the user has left. Well, that's 200 base power at 1% hit points with Stab. 300 base power, 400 attack Pokemon. It's going to just do absolute destruction things. Again, all you have to do is outspeed. If Cinccino doesn't get outsped, it's going to do incredible things, and I do like carrying the Q-Charm on this one. That if they're making contact, they might get infatuated, and that could work out into its own crazy realm of shenanigans. Then we have Knockoff for damage, so Lychee Berry boosting damage into Knockoff could be nice. Also lets us hit Ghost-type Pokemon, because Flail isn't going to. And then we have Substitute, so if they're going for status, we can use that Substitute, or if we know we're going to get the outspeed, we sub, and then we can sub-lock them down into Lychee Berry, and then we go for some crazy stuff. And we can still hold on to the Endure if we need to clutch it out, which might happen from time to time. Next up, Ambipom. We're just going to talk about Ambipom for a bit because it's very similar. Low defenses, middle of the road hit points, and then 100 attack instead of 95 attack and 115 speed. Now both these Pokemon, they get Last Resort. So Cinccino able to do the Life Orb Last Resort combo and still put out a lot of damage while having a very threatening amount of speed. Now, Ambipom is arguably better at it because it gets Technician, so Fake Out Technician into Last Resort is going to be absurd, but Cinccino, if you are using it, you can consider Last Resort option, then your opponent has a really hard time guessing what you're going to do. Are you going to be this Indoor Flail high ridiculousness? Are you going for the hack shenanigans? Like, this is the most fun set. It doesn't matter if it's the best or not, this is the most fun set on Cinccino. Or do you just have that Last Resort? In double battles, this could get really interesting. You use Protect. Okay, they don't know what you're up to, boom, Last Resort. Suddenly, huge amounts of damage. That could be a pretty good thing. Another way of running Cinccino in doubles is as a huge utility and damage threat Pokemon. That we give it a Focus Sash, we throw out Charm, our Encore, and then we have a Flail. So our Flail is still going to be very, very high amounts of base damage that even without the Lychee Berry, we still find KOs, neutral KOs on many, many different Pokemon because it's so high base damage at 289 with 300 base power move. Some things aren't going to find a way of surviving that, which is still pretty good in our books. And then we can also Charm. So first turn, we can Charm, we can lower their attack. So if we feel that they're going to focus our other Pokemon, our Sweeper Pokemon, we drop their attack, well, now we're good to go. Our Sweeper isn't going to be threatened for that turn. And then when we finally get hit and procced into our Focus Sash, Flail's going to do a lot of damage. Also, if they're like spamming Protect or they go for Fake Out, you know, first turn you Protect their Fake Out, then if you outspeed them, you can go for the Encore, lock them down like that, then you can Charm the other Pokemon, and eventually when your Focus Sash gets procced, you turn into a damaged threat. That can be absolutely beastly. So I would give Cinccino a lot of respect. And then the last Cinccino set, you can play it as the ultimate beautiful Pokemon that it is. I mean, what goes better with its design than attract female? Like, that's all you have to do. You find a male Pokemon, you outspeed them, you attract, they have a 50% chance of being immobilized by love, and then you beat them down into the ground because you have things like Thunder Wave. So that's going to be 25% on top of that 50%, and then Swagger. If they do hit themselves in confusion, they're doing a lot of damage themselves. If they don't, then they might be infatuated or get stopped by that Thunder Wave, and then you just get to go to town on them. So again, I feel this is a good option for Q Charm, that if you know that they're going to make contact with you and you're going to survive it, throw out the Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave, then you can just try to slow them down, get that extra layer of hacks in there, then they hit you, Q Charm might activate, it's only 30% chance. If not, you use Attract, if it does, you use Swagger, and then you hide behind the Substitute as they literally hurt themselves in love. That girl that you really, really like doesn't like you back, and you're such a stupid guy for not being able to have her fall in love with you, and it's just one of those dumb things that growing up is all about. But you get to benefit that as Cinccino. So Leftovers is going to heal you up over time. You know, if they get hacked enough, you get a free Substitute off of a lot of Leftovers procs, and then you can do a lot of really fun stuff with this. So a lot of speed is going to be really nice. This is going to be a very similar set to the Perugly. I mean, you just get a huge lockdown, and you might be able to just get a super amount of hacks and win the battle. And also, it's not even like hacks in that kind of way too. Once you get Attract, that's a 50-50. Once you get Swagger, everything goes into your favor. So you have beneficial odds, which means your opponent is actually the one with hacks if they beat you through the strategy. That's how you play gimmicks. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.